The Three Bears and Goldilocks. Bears are very clever creatures. In fact, some have been known to live in houses by the woods, sleep in beds, eat porridge, and even recycle. Yes, bears care about the planet, just like you and me. Now, once upon a time, there were 3 such bears who lived in such a cottage by such a wood. It was a glorious spring day, and the 3 bears in this story had decided to go for a stroll while their porridge cooled down. No sooner had they left the cottage when a young girl came a hop-skipping past. Her name was Mildred, but she quite liked to be called Goldilocks because of her golden hair. Of course, no one actually called her that because everyone agreed that it was a silly name, and Mildred was much nicer. But as you shall find out, a silly name suited Mildred quite well. Now, Mildred saw that the cottage door was open and looked inside. But it didn't stop there because Mildred then decided to push the door wide open and walk right in. Unbelievable. Yes, believe it or not, Mildred Thorogood, for that was her name, walked into that stranger's house uninvited. Why? I'll tell you why, because in case you hadn't worked it out already, young Mildred had no manners. None at all. I mean, would you ever go into someone else's house uninvited? I would hope not. But Mildred wasn't like you and me and saw absolutely nothing wrong in going for a wander where she didn't belong. There on the table were 3 bowls of porridge. Now, do you think that Mildred realized it wasn't right to snoop around and quickly vamoosed? Well, she should have done so, but no. Instead, Mildred picked up a spoon and ate out of every bowl. She decided that one of the bowls was just right and ate it up. All of it. Every single last drop of delicious porridge ended up in her tummy. Then she did a huge burp and thought she might like to sit down. Now, the first chair she sat in broke. It broke in 2 because of her bottom being too big for the chair, but there were 2 other chairs, so she chose the one that looked a better size and sat down. It was very comfy. Just right, Mildred said to herself, rubbing her full tummy. Now, being a most disagreeable child, Mildred then decided it would be a splendid idea to walk around the house. Well, at this stage, you probably won't be surprised that without a moment of consideration, off she went, clumping up the stairs in her muddy shoes. There were 3 beds upstairs, and Mildred decided it would be hilarious fun to bounce on them with her shoes on. I know, the naughtiness is off the scale. Well, after a big bowl of porridge and a lot of bouncing, Mildred felt very, very tired. She lay down, and in a few moments, she was fast asleep. In case you were wondering, she was in the middle-sized bed. Not that it makes a difference, because none of the beds were hers, and she shouldn't have been there in the first place. Now, where have the bears got to? Well, just at that moment, they arrived back at their front door. Don't remember leaving the door open, remarked the largest bear. The 3 bears walked into their house and stared in shock at their kitchen table. One of the bowls was completely empty, and there was a porridgey spoon that had been licked clean. "What's going on?" asked the largest bear. "You left the door open. That's what's going on," said the middle-sized bear, a little cross. The 3 bears looked around, a bit worried that whoever had broken in might still be in the house. Then the smallest bear pointed at the broken chair. "Someone's trashed the furniture, look." "Well," said the largest bear, "this is rather upsetting." "I know," said the middle-sized bear, very confused. "But who would do such a thing?" "Well, of course we know exactly who would do such a thing. A cheeky little brat called Mildred Thorogood. That's who." "We should go upstairs and check the bedrooms," said the largest bear. And that is exactly what they did. Now, the smallest bear went to the first bedroom and found that the sheets were covered in dirt and mud. "Someone's been jumping up and down on my bed with their shoes on," they shouted. The largest bear went to his bedroom and saw the same thing and shouted out, "Same!" Meanwhile, the middle-sized bear stood in the bedroom staring down at a golden-haired little girl lying fast asleep in the bed. In case you were wondering, yes, she still had her shoes on. The three bears stood and watched Meredith fast asleep. They guessed that this was probably the same person who had eaten their porridge and broken their chair, and they were wondering what to do about it when Mildred woke up. What a shock she had seeing three brown bears looming over her. Her eyes were as wide as saucers, and she yelped like a little puppy, leapt out of bed, ran down the stairs, through the kitchen, and out into the woods, screaming her little golden head off. Well, the three bears never did find out who that little girl was, despite giving a very clear description to the local police. They were just glad she was gone and very happy never to see her again. They never left the house without double-locking the front door after that, and they stayed very wary of naughty little girls and boys, which is probably a good idea. I do wonder if Mildred Goldilocks Thorogood learned her lesson that day. Perhaps she became a little more thoughtful after that triple scary bear moment. Or are some children just bad through and through? I hope not. What do you think?